Hello, is this thing on? Is anybody there? I've been locked in a small dark room and told I need to test this computer with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just kidding. Really, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I think I'm just about finished finalizing all my settings to where I'm really happy at the moment. I'd be more happy if the simulator showed up. There we go. All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. Long time no see. Pardon me, I'm terribly rusty, and I have been struggling to get this new PC set up. And I'll tell you all about it in just a minute. All right. So we're up and running. Give me a moment. I have to pull up the stats. Right here and do a reset. Now I'm trying to find that sweet spot where I don't get any frames missed due to render lag or skipped frames due to encoder lag. And I've been tweaking things here and there, and I may have finally just pushed it a little bit too far, so we might have to scale back. Not absolutely everything is at ultra for stability, or in order to have a better experience with, let's say, airport activity, ground vehicles, people walking around, vehicles on the roads. Now, that takes up a tremendous amount of horsepower, frames per second. Diminishes your frames per second. And so swapping out certain things, like maybe not pushing the landscape here. Here, let me just get to it and show you. So the terrain level of detail, which is CPU heavy, right? So if I'm dealing with fog and haze, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of landscape out in front of me. So keeping this at 200, but again, going over here to traffic and being able to try to bump up airport vehicle density all the way. Airport ground density, worker density, right? Now on the data side here, live real world air traffic is on. Live weather is on. I need to turn on multiplayer because we're going to be doing shared cockpit with the simulator 2024 coming out. Hold on, I don't have any chat set up or anything like that yet, or I can't see it if anybody's in the chat. Get this chat popped out. Nobody knows I'm live streaming. I haven't done it for so long, everybody's given up on me. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that big. I'll be showing you my settings here in a moment. Okay. You're starting to see them there now. All right, let's get back to graphics. Other than that, pretty much everything's turned up. So 3840 by 2160 on full screen resolution. NVIDIA DLSS Super Resolution for anti-aliasing. Super Resolution is set to quality. Right now, I'm only concerned with quality. I know everybody's about FPS. Well, I'm not testing and I'm not specifically training, right? So getting FPS, yeah, I can get all kinds of FPS if I turn everything down, which isn't a problem. Again, if I'm testing or training, if I can get stupid FPS. But I want to be able to do live streams and have this on absurd quality. The best I can do with this new PC. Again, as in the description, it's an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D with the NVIDIA 4070 Ti Super, 32 gigs of RAM, and I'm going to be bumping up to 64 hopefully by November for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Okay, so just that's bumped down the terrain level of detail. Ultra terrain vector data. I was dealing with fog and haze in my demo earlier, or the video that I put out earlier. So I turned down the vector data a little bit. Again, I can always change these up a little bit depending on what environment we're in. Push here, pull there a little bit. But what I'm trying to demonstrate to you is that I'm not doing a whole lot of sacrificing. Where for years, the build that I was on, all I could afford was one of those mid-range Dells. And not that it didn't serve us well. It served me and you, the live streaming viewers, well, all these years. And we always still had a good quality. But now it's getting crazy. Okay. Volumetric clouds, ultra, texture, ultra. Now, the anisotropic filtering is off because people that are putting up videos on the graphics guides, the guru graphic guides to NVIDIA and Microsoft Flight Simulator, all say to let the NVIDIA control panel programming handle the anisotropic filtering. So in my NVIDIA panel, we have, hey, there you are. Hey, it's good to see it. We really need to get voice chat set up. You're turning in from school right now. To be honest, you've deleted 2020, but therefore you bought Condor 2 and it's a sim for gliding, so perfect. Well, stick around. If you in any way are receiving those Microsoft rewards, if you use Bing, the Bing search engine instead of Google, then you have slowly been accumulating Microsoft rewards. And I don't know if I have that page up, the website up, but let me talk about that really quickly. I bought Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 pre-order, the standard edition, for $20. I have been receiving Microsoft reward points for years using the search engine, and when I went to go purchase the pre-order of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, I saw that I could redeem all my reward points in for a giant gift card for the Microsoft Store, and I redeemed $50 worth of points and bought the standard edition for $20. So you can't beat that. So for the folks out there, yourself or anybody else who might tune in, if you've never checked to see if you're getting Microsoft reward points, you might want to check that. And hopefully you have been, and hopefully you've never paid attention. And they've just been accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. And I know I've already seen on the forums people posting that they have so many points that they're getting it for free. There's one gentleman in the forum who had enough points possibly to get the entire collector's version for free. So, public service announcement. I hope I'm not coming in too loud. Let me get to the browser. Let me see about opening up a browser here. Let's see if it'll do it there. One moment. Sorry. Window capture. Let me get something up here. It doesn't want to. Anyway, if you just go to Microsoft Rewards or search Microsoft Rewards, and if you have it, it'll take you to your dashboard, or if you have a Microsoft account, click and go to the dashboard, log into your Microsoft account dashboard for the rewards, and it'll show you how many points you have. I really need to get that page up. Okay, just finishing up the settings here. Everything down here. Contact shadows. I can bump this up a little bit more. Windshield effects, ultra. Ambient occlusion, ultra. 256 on the cube map reflections. Ultra on the ray marched. Ultra light shafts, bloom. The bloom. Bloom does not naturally occur. It's something that happens in a camera lens only. Same with lens flare. Now, these take up some horsepower that I'm willing to give up altogether. So I've turned off the bloom and I've turned off the lens flare at the moment. It's just a little bit of icing on the cake. And right at the moment, with the traffic over here being set so high, I had to make some sacrifices. And you see the road vehicles are up too. I don't care about leisure boats, ships, and ferries where I'm at in Colorado, where I'm going to be doing this. I picked up the camping kit, and I'll show that to you as well during this test. Let me turn on the frames per second to show you what kind of hit I'm taking running everything on this machine. Oh, 109. Well, we're not in it yet. So we're going to go back. I've been learning how to fly helicopters again and configuring the helicopters because they gave me so much problems last time. I thought I'd spend a little more time. I haven't been doing any gliding, sorry to say. Okay, that sounds great. You say you've got a tune out now, you've got to write an exam in 20 minutes. Nice. Okay, you'll maybe see me in the next couple of days or so. Tonight and tomorrow you're at the airfield, but after that you're free because of holidays. So good. It seems I may have come back at the right time. All right. Let's pop in here. Nice lighting. I'm going to change the lighting. Okay, so in YouTube, if you are watching from a 4K monitor or a 4K television, in the lower corner of YouTube is the settings button. And it should tell you what it's displaying at, but if you do want to ensure, click that little settings button down there and make sure that it is set to 2160, and that will be 4K. Okay. So having a quick look around. Now, Colorado, this airport has some terrain problems. But mountains look fantastic. Look like there's some planes in the sky over there. Somebody's flying a Tomcat. Yep. And somebody's flying an airliner over there. This is all live activity. Pikes Peak looking great in the distance. I added in a tool that puts all the antenna, like that mountain back there. You can always see the antenna, and it's been missing from the simulator, and I added that in. All right, so we're doing 47, 48 FPS. Now, I'm okay with that because when I'm moving around my head, and I'm trying to use head tracker again, but it's giving me fits. But when I'm moving around, I'm not getting any lagging. Okay, it's not stuttering, it's not freaking out. If I'm getting micro lags, they're really micro. So it looks like I'm doing bad up here. It's all in the red at 48. But the requirements back in the day was for it to be recognized as a PC that could allow you to do something considered official training for flight simulators. It had to be able to do a constant 36 frames per second. Okay, and back in the day, that was a pretty big deal. Okay, so I'm not concerned because at 48 frames a second, I'm still able to run around, I'm still able to move the mouse, and, you know, it's not freaking out. Okay, couldn't do that at all in the past. All right. Let me get my my headphones on here. So the the Zen moment breakthrough with helicopters, I think is finally happened. And the importance of mapping your controller correctly, but taking the advice of some of the people out there and mapping the trim controls to your point of view hat stick on your joystick. I always use it for looking around to control my camera. I'm always using my hat stick for this, you know? And they're like, no. If you really want to do this right, you're going to have to get rid of that and get your head tracker working, or, you know, click on the mouse to engage the camera. But you're going to get it once you start using your hat stick on your joystick for the trim. I said, okay, all right, fine. The buttons didn't seem to work worth a darn setting it up that way, so I went ahead and did it. And I think I've now finally started to find the zen, where I would always I couldn't do anything in a helicopter, spinning out of control, didn't understand it at all. And no matter what I do, I just couldn't get it. And now flying this way, totally get it. And I'm always keeping an eye on my I've been doing this for so long, you forget certain things. The vertical speed indicator right there. Trying to make sure that I just have the proper amount of power. We did get a little bit of a micro stutter there. And I'm using the trim to push the rotor, tilt the rotor above us towards our nose to the ground, so that we can start picking up speed and going forward. And when you do that, you usually start increasing lift. Now, if you pull back on the point of view hat sticky thing and start rotating that rotor above us towards our tail, we start slowing down and we can start flying backwards. So, I mean, I can pull and do the same thing. Some guys, I think what the problem was is they're like, I don't ever use the trim. And other guys are like, what are you doing? You're flying wrong then. I mean, you should really be using it a lot. Okay, so we were flying backwards for a minute. And then proper use of the collective. Again, your vertical speed indicator, keeping an eye on your power for raising yourself up and down. I say better controlling your descent as I smack into the ground. All right, using the hat again to move laterally, so making the rotor blade above us tilt towards our right, and now making the rotor above us tilt to our left. So you can see, again, we're getting a lot of the ground traffic going on. Definitely feels way more alive now. Oh, we just hit the lights. Hilarious. Sorry about that. Okay. This is just a few miles from my home in that direction right over there. If you've tuned in any of my stuff before, then you already know that. This is Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is the municipal airport, KCOS. Some more live traffic moving around up there, or yeah, a lot of people flying Colorado today. It's nice. All right, let's do some flying. I'll show you. Let's keep an eye on the FPS. So I would, pardon me. Let me reset my things here. I did want to see if I could bring this up a little bit more. Okay, what I wanted to say about FPS beyond 36. They used to say that 36 frames per second was what you absolutely needed to be on a PC flight simulator to do any sort of there's no official testing, but for a machine that they want to try to certify as as best you can a simulator had to do 36. Now Edison, what happened there? I think I may have vortexed us. That's something I'm learning about with helicopters. You can get into a configuration called the vortex, where the air around you is just spinning in a circle around you, and you've got to break away from it or you plummet like that. So there's a lot to learn with helicopters. All right, so Edison said that he believed that 48 frames per second. It's always been 24 for cinema. So up until recently in the modern era, movies and made out of Hollywood, everything has been 24 frames a second, and that's been adequate. So then 36 for high-end gaming at one point. Now Thomas Edison said 48 is close to real. That's the way how many shutters, the frames your eyeballs do. So if you can achieve over 48, you achieve a lot more reality. So we're right there on that cusp. If you look up there, we're 48, 49. But if I get moving and into a densely populated area, it can come down. So I still want to maybe see what I can get by not going completely crazy on the traffic. Right? I love all the cars, but right now we're moving away from the airport. So let's just drop these in half. Drop even more. Let's see what it does. We don't need this at all. I also picked up the Skyvan, and I'll show you that here shortly in a minute too. Okay, and I'll just drop the road vehicles down a tiny bit. Let's see if we get any sort of boost out of that. Well, we broke 50. What I've been trying to learn this last 2 days is how to pick up speed. How do I fly as fast as I can? I think we might be in a situation where we don't have full power. Yeah, because something's up with this. I've got it set wrong or something. I'm having a tough time. And there we go. Getting a positive climb. See the cranes right there? I don't know why they highlight like that. I wish they would just put them in without highlighting all the objects that they add. Again, there you can see another crane illuminating in pink just up ahead. It doesn't seem to want to listen to my downward movement at the moment. I had it the rotor configured wrong, the collective. So in the center of the screen are the big circle with the yellow. Our needle is in the green. Frames. Yeah, I mean, and it looks great. It looks great. It's running fine. A lot of cars. Something I could never do in the past. It's wonderful. So looking forward to 2024. They're promising, you know, much higher resolution buildings and places, and certain places. The trees are all going to be 3D. So you know how the trees, they're still, I'm assuming they're still going to kind of fade in and populate. No, they want me to talk to them.
Colorado Springs Tower Kilo, India, November, frequency change.
I don't have some of the, I've got Germany and Switzerland loaded, and those are, they're claiming to be the highest definition models in the simulator at the moment. I'm sure we'll definitely take a hit on one of those. So let's take this opportunity to try that. We'll try to load in Bern, Switzerland or something, or see what we get. I tried this the other day. It definitely took a hit. So Zurich. Zurich is supposed to be high definition area. And might as well show you the Sky Van while we're here. This baby. Which one is the Skydive one? Has the custom paint jobs? This thing's a trip. The one with the giant lips on it, or the clownfish? Nemo. I like the one with the big lips on it. Let's change the time of day. Let's see something here. It's saying, how did my render scale change? Up here it's saying I'm only rendering 2560. So something changed. Or I've lost my render scaling. I'm going to have to bump that back up because now I'm not really doing a full 4K.
Zurich Tower, Kineas, Sierra Charlie 7,
Huh.
runway 28 ready for departure, straight out departure.
Kineas, Sierra Charlie 71267.
Now this is lagging. You can tell it's a heavy amount.
Cleared for takeoff runway 28.
Cleared for takeoff runway 28, Kineas, Sierra Charlie 7.
Okay, so now we can't even get 36. See what their live weather's like over there. Nice and clear, huh? 39, 38, okay. Bumping it back up. So yeah, it's pink on one side. Can't do anything about that. But check out those crazy lips. I think this is going to be my new favorite plane. See, now I'm lagging there. See, when I'm turning my mouse quickly. So that wasn't doing that in Colorado Springs. And you saw I haven't changed anything. Okay, got our skydivers back there. But I'm always talking about wanting to convert one of, that Cessna Caravan into an RV, a recreational vehicle. But there's not enough headroom. And I saw this and I'm like, oh my, this is so wonderful. And the tail does drop. No, it is. Where is it? Okay. So see, we're having a tough time. Let's take a look at this airport and take a look at the surrounding area. So they're saying these are some of the best maps in there with like I don't know the exact terminology, just like a for level of detail. They're like it's a 1, it's a 0 scale. I don't exactly know what that means, but they said you can always tell by when you get close to logos and such. And down here on the ground mappings, the texture is going to be much better. Now, again, my draw distance might not be all that great. I turn that down, and I think you get good drawing up to a mile. Oh, look at that road. Ah. Reminds me of Streets of Sim City. If you're old like me, you might remember that. And if you ever had Sim City 2000, you built your own cities and then started trying to drive in them in Streets of Sim City, yeah, you would get stuff like this. So again, it may not look all that great for the 2020 version, and we'll see what 2024 brings us in November. It's supposed to be much better, even much better than this in certain places. So we'll see. Yeah, because some of these buildings now, and I think again this could just be draw distance. I'm so far away from the airplane that it looks like le crap. Yeah, mighty detailed. You can see the watch. Very nice. So yeah, if I want to fly in these, I'm going to have to do a little bit more tweaking. We've got to get it up into the 36s. So let's see what we can do.
Heavy 129er7 at 6. Clear to land runway 2.
Oh, what do we want to sacrifice? I'll give up the cars and the traffic again some more. Let's go ahead and bring down the cars. Better. Okay. So again, my render scaling. I think it was because when I set this to DLSS Super Resolution, something changed. And I lost my render scaling. See, but up in the top, that's not doing it. Full screen. But again, we got to get this render scale back up. And this is not doing it. Well, let's try here. Yeah, because now it's putting it out to stupid numbers. Yeah, now it's pumping it up too high. Now I'm not getting a full 2160. Well, it's saying I'm doing 3840 by 2119. Well, that's at least they're all the same now. Okay. Well, what happens when I switch this again? Is it going to switch on me? Super resolution. It is. That's not good. I don't like that. All right, object level of detail. Don't want to mess with that, really. I like it, everything high. There's really nowhere else we can sacrifice. We could, for this one, I guess the data would be next. Let's turn off multiplayer. Live weather, since they're in clear skies anyway. And the live world air traffic at the moment. See if we can get any boost out of that. No, we're hitting 36, so that's not bad. Now, back into the 24s. Oh, getting 7. And that is some serious detail. Here. Ah. Not responding. Scotty. What is going on? Even my monitor's freaking out. Let's so turning this on performance. Frame generation's on, okay. All right, well, the clouds aren't on at the moment. Oh, it's just that. So we're definitely going to need that more. We're going to need more RAM. I want to bring these back up. Let's see. I usually don't like messing with FXAA or DAA or DO, whatever it is, in the past because I had such crap resolution. Yeah, don't like it. Then all the textures kind of shimmer on things. You see that?
Sierra Charlie 7 leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Oh, and it's definitely skipping frames now due to encoder lag.
Zurich approach Kineas Sierra Charlie.
Yikes.
Type 1 miles southwest of Zurich, 3,700 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Kineas Sierra Charlie 7 Zurich approach. Squawk
Squawk 6662 Kenya Sierra Charlie 7.
Kenya Sierra Charlie 7 radar contact 1 mile southwest of Zurich, 4,600 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Maintain.
Maintain, buddy. All right. I just don't think we're going to get away with. Doing one of these high def areas. Okay, that helped a lot. The shadows and the lighting reflections. Wow. Okay, so let's see about going back to TAA then. $43, $45. Okay, great. Flaps down. This thing does have an autopilot. It's interesting. That looks like pillars. No. Okay, well, we're above 36, so again, can't complain. So sorry, I wasn't expecting everybody to come back in after my buddy from Germany left. So in the chat room, Runner TA looks good for me. Yeah, I really like it. I prefer it over the others for sure. Where did my chat want to just go now? Need to find a way to make that stay on top. DLSS or FrameGen can make the game look blurry. LOD doesn't need to be so high. Just a bump up from default is good, probably. The level of detail. So in the drone cam, doing 50 frames. Wow, earthworks down there. This is really nice. Again, I've never had a computer like this before. I really wish I could have spent a little bit, a little bit more, but it's just wasn't there. I would have liked to have gone for broke and got the 4090, and I just couldn't do it. The wife in the background with the rolling pin, it's just like, look, you does it need to look that good? Well, no, it doesn't. Aren't you supposed to be doing this just for training purposes, right? And the live streaming is secondary? Well, yes. Well then, okay. But I'm super impressed. I'm super impressed. The 7800X3D is better than anything I've ever seen, and this 4070 Ti Super is fantastic. And we are running DX12. And AI vehicles and stuff can be pretty heavy on the CPU. That's another thing too, is there's another setting. So if I look at the traffic again, the AI, the data, the real world air traffic is off, but under traffic, isn't there one for the AI on? AI traffic type off or on? AI offline, disable AI traffic. Okay, so it's currently off. So we're, yeah. So you may turn that off, but you still might have AI stuff going on in here. Okay. All right. Now I want to try a camping setting. So let's go back to the main menu. I've been wanting this for a long time, the camp out utility for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they say that everything that you purchase in the marketplace, it's up to the developers and all, but everything should work with 2024. So I took the time to download high definition maps of this two little lakes in Colorado for my camp out. Let me get our time right here. And I want to do a live stream just focusing on this area here. And my campsite, if I didn't remove it, it stays, any campsite you lay down will stay active in the game for 7 days unless you revisit it. I don't think it's been 7 days. So I think it's like right around here. And I was using the icon for this. And I picked up the icon variant, the mod. So this icon has a beefier engine, and I guess the responsiveness is much better. And it has a basic autopilot. You can't do, ILS with it. Yes. But it's nice having any sort of autopilot for hands-free in the icon. Let's the nearest airport is just right over here, 93CO. Let me spawn myself like right here. And I will show you how this system is running. And we might again turn off some things, then bump up the landscape again, since we're and put the power into the grasses and the bushes and more ground level stuff. Okay, if you install the utility, you get a
Denver Center icon November 715 Bravo Alpha is type icon 3 miles southwest of Niner Tree Charlie Oscar.
A camp out
1,200 feet.
Icon up here.
Flight following.
And if my camp is still there, 49 frames, good. 50.
Icon 5 Bravo Alpha. Roger, icon 5 Bravo Alpha.
Oh, maybe that's it over there. Bring it off a little speed here. Okay, let's hide this camp out app for just a moment. Let's get us down to the ground, turn on the water rudder. Might as well. Flaps down. Yeah. Yeah, now that we don't have a heavy, busy city around us. No, that's not my camp. Maybe it's out. If not, we'll deploy another campsite. Not a big deal. All right. That's since we're coming back out here, since we're in a not dense area, let's put all of the resources into the level of detail for the ground. We really don't need any buildings, so let's turn our buildings down. Trees, bump them up. Any sort of grass. And yeah. Medium, textures high. Water waves. We're around water now, so. You got a new PC last year? Air traffic, you can turn it up. It's the road vehicles that kills in the cities. I believe you. Rent-a-cow. If you don't mind me asking, did you go for broke? Did you get the do you have the 4090 rig? What PC do you have? I promise not to be too envious. Okay, let's see what else we can do. We can turn down all these out here because we're just not using them right now. Okay. Camping utility. This is the ring that I guess you can deploy things in. Okay. Now, they have this eco thing, and I don't really get it, but the first rule of camping is not to leave anything behind and to leave everything as you found it. Our credit system ensures that you are not littering up your sim space. Even in here, man, they gotta like harsher, mellow climate, blah blah blah. Anyway, campouts. Our credit system ensures that you're not littering up your sim space, eventually ending up with persistent objects worldwide affecting performance. Okay, I get it. Campouts automatically disappear from the world after 7 days unless they're visited. You have a few options to manage global campouts. Please select one to free up eco credits. I don't think we have anything out at the moment. Let me go back. You come up here and add things in. Let's add our winter tent. It is cold, getting cold here in Colorado. It's October now. So let's add a tent. And let's... should be able to see it right here next to the aircraft in front of us. Hey, where are you? We put it down. Yeah, there it is right next to us. See it? Okay. And you can turn it with this little handle here to face the water. Okay. The 3060 Ti was on sale. Awesome. Yeah, I bet you're right about getting more frames per second in this area. Okay, so we can get a heated tent, a bear rug, a canopy, fire pit, snow piles, a snowman, a hammock, the grill. Let's mix up a mess of food, shall we? See that one quite. There it is. There's coming into view over there in front of the tent. I'll have a close up on that in just a moment. A windsock. They've got smoke canisters. In here, so if you want to find your camp, you can turn it on and off. Where's the smoke canister? Right here, smoke canister. And you can turn that on and off in here. And you can change the color of the smoke. Yep. It's not to help you spot things from the air. Plus, you know, again, keeping an eye on weather. Oh, I bought this PC pre-built online. If you're looking for pre-built machines, it's by that group out there, CyberPower PCs. Let's turn off the smoke. Now, our animals, let's see, firewood, winter backpack, a cooler. We're going to need a cooler. And we're going to need a bucket. You know what I mean? For the bare necessities, you've got to have your bucket. And the wind was blowing. You want to keep this kind of in the direction the wind's blowing, so it blows away from our sleeping spot. You can put a sleeping bag in there, waterproof bags, a lamps. These are nice at night. Okay, our animals. Look at all these animals you can get. There's a German Shepherd right there, and you place them the same way, and they just stay in there. They don't run around or do anything yet. And I'm hoping that the developers of this can build on their, you know, maybe build some more animation into it so they don't just sit there. There's Nacho. Let's add Nacho. Put him over here. And we need where's his food bowl? There's the food bowl. Okay. Let's pop out of the plane for a minute. Canister. Dang it. Let me turn down the drone camera. Faster drone camera. Turn that one down a little too much. Well, at least he kind of jumps up a little bit. Like there's a lamp in the tent for you. I did not notice that last time. All right, you're right. You're right, and we don't need that much. So let's bring it down to mortal levels. I would run everything before, run around 100, really. I wouldn't push things too hard. With objects and things, try to always just do like 100, 110. I didn't change that much. But hey, can't complain. I mean, look at how beautiful it is. All right, let's do a little bit of flying around these reservoirs. And we'll turn on our smoke so we can see our camp on the way back. Highlight it and turn on the smoke. You got to be careful around some of these waters. If you come in a little too slow, you can get stuck in the basically the mud, the marsh water. Get the turn off the water rudder. Fast. Then if you think there's a problem in the feature, you can benchmark again and compare. Yeah. Well, I'm just happy that I'm able to provide it. You know, I'm doing it. I don't know what kind of screen or monitor you're on, but if you've got a 4K, you can definitely hit that settings button in the bottom, and I'm on a
Denver Center icon, November
43 inch ultra high definition LG television.
Request flight following.
This is a very, very, very popular camping and fishing spot. It's not so wildernessy because people are mostly coming for the hiking and the fishing. So it's Gold Medal Waters, award-winning trout fishing for anglers.
Roger, icon 5 Bravo Alpha.
You know, so if you're looking for a place that's like way more like mountainy, there's so many lakes here. But as far as the average camper who doesn't really want to be up in the mountains too high, you know, want more camping as opposed to trees everywhere. But if you head, and then again, if you're looking for stream fishing, right back behind us, lots of little windy streams at the over here, back behind us, and then at 11 Mile up ahead, that one, that's the next reservoir. So we used to come here a lot when I was a kid. See, they got a lot of little snaky streams going to between these two, and then on the other side, if you really want more like a mountainous camping, you're gonna want like the far end of the next lake where it gets really woodland over on that side. Yeah, I'm very happy with this version of the icon. She is seemingly more responsive, and I got my settings and sensitivities a little bit deadened, but
15 Bravo Alpha 9,000 feet.
this is a fun plane. She doesn't ever want to stall. She's kind of built to not stall. But you can find yourself in a dangerous situation really fast with the icon because it's so easy and fun to fly that you are constantly doing bad things, you know, bad behavior in airplanes. Like, well, you shouldn't fly that way. The monitor is only a 60 hertz monitor, and I've got VSync on. So yeah, I know that VSync, normally the graphics guys, for FPS purposes, they will turn it off. Right now, the reason why I'm not using the render scaling, the NVIDIA DLSS right at the moment is because up here, look at these top options here: tearing, screen, post, and render. My screen is 3840 by 2119. The post is 3840 2119. But when I switch to NVIDIA Super Resolution, it drops the final render down. And that's not the point of this test. The point of this test is to make sure that the render scaling remains the same. That I'm actually doing a 4K and I'm not faking a little bit or fudging a little bit. It might actually probably look a little better going back to the NVIDIA. But anyway, let's see what just turning off the So without VSync, really didn't make that big of a difference. I'm still capping. Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. If I come up here to NVIDIA Super Resolution and quality, and we have frame generation on, and VSync off. There we go. Now we're getting a little bit more. But our render is 2560 now. But wow, right? I mean, you get the benefit of the bonus FPS. And an AI is supposedly making it all look better. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Rent-A-Cow. It's a long story. Spending money. I griped about saving money and not being able to spend as much as I wanted to on this system in general. So, a while back, I bought this television and to also use as a gaming monitor because it was UHD. And I didn't need anything above 60 hertz. And now they make these monitors that do 144 hertz. And yes, I know that I'm now being limited as well by the monitor itself. So, and again, the wife at the moment with the rolling pin in the background. I'm trying to convince her to take this TV to use as her gaming monitor because she only plays The Sims, right? So I'm trying to convince her to take this television as her gaming monitor so I have an excuse to go pick up a monitor, but they're still very expensive at the moment. So if you want a monitor with those kind of resolution rates, you know, you're still in many cases 500 up. 500, 800, 1,000, where you can find a new high-rise, high-sense, whatever 4K up to 5K, 6K, or whatever from Walmart with 144 hertz for $300. So yes, I absolutely understand that a monitor would be better. You hear me? You had to save for a monitor, so you used a TV for a few months. The difference was unreal. You think the TV looks sharp until you see that for Gsync. That's it. Now that I've got this NVIDIA card, you're absolutely right. I want to try the Gsync technology. And that's another thing I'm not doing. I am not running in HDR because, for myself personally, I would love to run it in HDR, and I will when I'm not live streaming. But I've noticed when you set OBS to broadcast an HDR stream, unless the viewer is on an HD monitor with HDR, then the color scheme is whack. And most people in the world today, overall, I would say, are not using HDR. And so for a while still, I'm going to try to avoid broadcasting and live streaming with HDR on. I might start running some tests and seeing what people think. Like the average viewer, are you running HDR? Blah, blah, blah. But right now, I think most people aren't. So I'm just keeping it off. But I've run it with HDR on, and yeah, absolutely, I love it. I love it. I love it. This TV can totally do it. All right, yeah. I was saying, yeah, back to the camping thing. If you're looking for more woodlands experience, there's plenty of areas on this side. And all of you look way out there, going towards Colorado Springs. You want to just get up off the road a little bit and feel like you're really up in the mountains. This part of the reservoir area gives you that kind of experience. It was fun. Next week the colors are jacked up. You had the exact thing. Yeah. I need to check OBS as well and make sure that the stats, that we're not having any graphic problems. So let's look at OBS. So with all the changing that we've been doing in the last, 30 minutes, frames missed due to render lag, 2. Skipped frames due to encoding. So I'm able to pump this 4K live stream and encode it with OBS at the same time. I've also done some recording. Recording isn't the problem at all. So I was really worried about trying to get to broadcast a 4K stream. But I also got hooked up with fiber optic internet. So I can do over 50,000, whatever it is, kbps, kilobits per second. I can really crank that up. And I probably don't need to be that high either on that, but will you be getting, if you don't mind me asking, will you be getting Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? And I don't know if you know about Microsoft reward points, but I got hooked up with Microsoft reward points. I don't know when I think I switched to, I don't remember when. It was years ago when 2020 came out. And I had to set up a Microsoft account, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I started getting these things called Microsoft reward points. And I just, okay, whatever. And I just let them accumulate over the years. I redeemed them for $50 the other day for a gift card for the Microsoft Store, and I picked up the pre-order of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 standard version for $20. So if you are considering purchasing, if you haven't already pre-purchased and you want to save a penny, then check and see if your Microsoft account has been accumulating Microsoft reward points. I don't think it works for Steam. Somebody says it doesn't. You can already see our smoke out there for our campsite.
119.85 icon 5 Bravo Alpha. Goodbye. Denver Center icon.
Yeah, me too. Well, see, I purchased the deluxe edition, Premium Deluxe 2020. But honestly, I don't want or need all those planes. I don't need 130 planes. I fly like 4 or 5. I'm into the career stuff, and I was doing NeoFly for a while. But, you know, I have my favorites now. I've developed, I love the Caravan now, and the Skyvan is going to be my new favorite thing for cross-countrying, imagining that I'm in an RV. And now I've got the camp set, and I've got this little icon here. And I've got my Cessna 172 for when I really want to get serious training. And I got the Airbus A320 and the other ones that they're giving us that are study level now for the most part. And beyond that, I don't enjoy the racing that much. I thought I would really enjoy racing it, but I don't. Kind of makes me nauseous. And yeah, so I don't need more than the standard version at this point. And I'm sure Asobo understands. You know, I helped him out last time with the deluxe purchase. I just, not this time around. This is probably a bad idea. I don't have the landing gear down. Come on. Spitting out in the dirt. They got Nacho over here. All right. So yeah, I think this is a wonderful thing, and I'm really looking forward to 2024 in November and doing lots and lots and lots of live streaming. Oh shoot. I forgot to turn on my auto scene switcher. Well, good thing you didn't see me flying recklessly just then. Sorry about that. To be honest, most of the freeware planes you've looked at make the Asobo guys look like clowns. The fly-by-wire was and is and the planes that they're creating, I messed with the fly-by-wire for a while, and I was thinking about reinstalling it. Wow. And I know that they've added more planes over there but their planes are pretty amazing. Okay. Another plane I'm in love with is, we'll test this one for speed. We can drop a bunch of stuff for this one. So now we have the need for speed. I watched a recent interview with Jorg where they asked him again about adding in combat, and he's just so... I love Jorg. I really do. I really like the guy a lot. I don't know him. I like the developers. But he is so anti-combat. It drives me insane. So on one hand, he'll say that he does not want combat to be in Microsoft Flight Simulator. He is so anti-combat. But at the same time, we'll be happy to work with people to release our tools so that you can create things. Well, I don't understand why Microsoft doesn't just create then. If he doesn't want to do it, my, that's loud. If they don't want to do it, why not let somebody else use the same tools and get us our combat? You know, everybody's like, go to DCS World, man. I don't want to go to DCS World. So we're in hover mode now, and I'm increasing the forward velocity to 50 knots, and then we'll do a transition into full flight. And away we go. You're up.
Tower Kilo India, November frequency. Denver Center Kilo India, November. Type 2 miles northwest.
All right, let's adjust now for some speed. Okay, so we definitely don't really need a whole lot of terrain level of detail. We don't need object level of detail. We don't need trees. We don't need bushes. Bump up the clouds. And water, don't need water. And don't need a whole lot of contact shadows. Nope, not getting the big boost. Ah. Ultra performance. There's 70.
Squawk 0067 India, November.
Sir, you see the same studio. bet you are when you were 13.
Going to 124.0 India November November. Colorado Springs approach Kilo India November November 9,000 feet.
Uh-oh, blackout. Uh-oh. Come on. Come on.
Going to 120.1 India November November. Denver approach Kilo India November November 10,300 feet.
God. Dangerous again. Take the G's off.
4.0 India November November. Colorado Springs approach Kilo India November November 12,100 feet.
Freelancer was a good game. But that was another one of those games way ahead of its time. Didn't have a PC that could run it worth a dang.
Going to 128.75 India November November. Denver Center Kilo India November November 14,300 feet.
Ah, I knew it.
Joker.
Denver Center Kilo India November November is type 15 miles northeast of Tree 0 Charlie Oscar 10,600 feet. Request flight following. Squawk Tree 661 India November November.
So good speed there, and another one is let me show you what I do have installed here. I appreciate Asobo very much. I mean, again, back before 2020 released, you know, we had X-Plane. But I just remember so many people, in myself included, crying on the internet. Why can't we have a new simulator? Why can't we have a new good simulator? And Microsoft came back and just so darn happy. And I appreciate them giving us all these planes, and whenever they give, you know, all the free stuff they've given us, again, like the Top Gun stuff and the Dune stuff, and you know, they throw us a lot of freebies. And with so many other game developers, especially like my wife, she's into The Sims, and they nickel and dime you for everything, and you know, they don't get a whole lot of free stuff, and we just get so much stuff thrown our way. And then this community is the most rabid and amazing community on the planet. I think flight simmers are probably the most fanatic. I'm, like you said, there are so many third-party developers out there that are just unbelievable, that what they put into their creations. And so, you know, there's just free content everywhere, and it's just so amazing, and it's getting more and more and more amazing. I'm glad that I've lived this long. And I hope I'm around for a while still to see it get even better. But when we were young, when I was a young kid, the idea that I would see graphics of this level, and I'm not even at virtual reality yet, and I'm just so stinking happy, man. You might notice weird artifacts with frame gen turned up too much. Oh, I hadn't so far. But again, look at all these wonderful planes. And again, I don't fly most of them at all. You know, my serious training, if I'm doing anything serious. When I think about going and taking flying lessons, I do everything in the Cessna Skyhawk because that's what I would be training with over at Meadow Lake. You know, and I'm trying to learn everything for visual flight rules and all the instrument flight rules training. And so, you know, the Skyhawk does everything, absolutely everything I need to do to practice doing real world license stuff. And again, dream about going to take the lessons. Beyond that, I love this guy here. It's, you know, one that in career mode for Neofly allows you to start making good money. The Caravan. I'm into the float planes. I like the de Havilland and the Beaver a lot. The float plane from FSX was one of my favorites. I love flying this plane too. These are nice when I just feel like big pimping. The Volocopter is one that I need to play with more. Super slow city traffic flying. And getting more into the bush planes, but I don't like trikes. I don't like planes in the trike formation. I don't like tail draggers. They're inherently unsafe. That's the nuts and bolts of it. Everybody's like, well, you're not a real pilot if you can't fly. You don't have good stick and rudder skills if you're not a tail dragger pilot. You know, it's not worth the risk. It's too inherently dangerous of a configuration. And I do believe you can get these now, or we're supposedly making them where they set them up in the in this manner. So I expect I'm going to be doing, you know, more biplane flying, and I don't know, what was it, crop dusting. So I'm learning how to fly the helicopter so I can do the helicopter stuff. And again, Skyvan is going to be my new favorite carrier. And I have learned how to fly most of the airliners, but I've spent most of my time in the Neo. Let's go over to KCOS. Our render scale has dropped significantly. So when I went up to performance, look at our render scale. I have to check it on YouTube and see if it's even still broadcasting in 4K. Our render scale is now back to 2080. That's just high definition.
Right straight out departure.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, it looks good, and I've got everything set to performance, but I didn't want to jack the render scale like that. Let me go over to YouTube and look at the stream itself. I don't have it up, but I want to see what you're saying. So let me click on that. I've got everything set to performance, but this room is very echoey. Well, it says I can still run it at 2160, even though it's dramatically decreased the render scale. Oh, the CJ is great. I mean, I like it. It's big pimping. It is big pimping. And I like that a lot. I know how to use the MCDU. Basically. Right? Like, let me set up a quick one here. We'll just do KDEN. And I do have access to SimBrief, and I know how to get that all set up to import your sim brief. Okay. So we really don't have to set up a departure. Like 35 right. We don't need any transitions. And it'll be coming in Boss, Strat, Stitzy, Dory, Dean, Drum, Franz, runway 35. Much. Bum reverse thrust. Let's find out if that's working tonight. Spoiler. Good. Okay. Flaps. $70 frames. Yeah, the citation is that would be just a dream. I can't imagine having that much money. It must be nice. IFRIP. Yep, IFRIP. Initialize flight plan, fuel, radios, in at page 2, performance progress. SimPilot on YouTube. I think his is a little bit different. But yes, it's good to have memory tools like that. Put it into climb. Set. IFRIP. So you definitely have some experience. I gotta ask, are you a simmer only, or have you ever flown? Are you a real world pilot? The fuel acronym is, that's it, DIFSRIP. That's the one SimPilot teaches. DIFSRIP or something, but most of those letters are relevant for flight sim. So right. I never ever thought I would ever get my head around this stuff. I wanted to quit so many times over the years. The first year was horrible because I couldn't stick a landing. I developed a mental, I don't know. I got all mental. And a hang up. And so I got afraid of landing, and since I couldn't stick a landing, I was really upset. And so I just said, well, I'm never going to be a flight simulator if I can't stick landings, you know. But I just practice here and there, and then one day it started coming a little bit better, and I started sticking maybe 10% of my landings, 20%, 30%, and all of a sudden it started happening. I'm like, okay. And then I got to radio navigation, VOR, steam gauges, and I'm like, no, there's no way I'm ever going to get my head around any of this stuff. I can't. I'm going to quit. Forget it. And then we finally had YouTube, and all the training instructors, and I watched a 10-year-old do an ILS landing on YouTube, and I felt like the biggest idiot in the world. A 10-year-old just taught me on YouTube how to do an ILS landing. And so I went back to the simulator and would sleep and eat as many videos as I could and just have videos on, flight training videos always on in the background. And little by little, that all started kicking in. And finally one day I'm like, okay, one of my viewers said, I want you to teach me how to fly an airliner. I'm like, I don't even know how to fly an airliner yet. So I was bound and determined, yeah, and SimPilot, he helped a lot. There's so many people that I owe thanks to on YouTube that great teachers, and you know, invaluable, all the lessons that everything you can learn out there. Amazing stuff. You've been flight simming since FS2000.
Going to 125.9 Kinney is 112 tree. Denver Center Kinney is 112 tree, 11,800 feet.
I don't have any special gear yet. My dad, before he passed away, he used to fly and was never instrument rated, but he used to have a little Piper Cherokee. And so when I was staying with him for a while before he passed, I was showing him Flight Simulator X, and my joystick broke. So my dad took me to go get a Logitech 3D joystick, and I'm still using it. And I just, until it gives up the ghost, I haven't been interested in getting any specialized flight gear yet, or a better joystick, or because this is the one my dad got me. Well, I paid for it. I didn't have a car. I was staying with him, so he took me over to the Fry's or whatever electronic center it was, Best Buy, whatever it was where we went. But I was with my dad, so.
132.75 Kinney is 112 tree.
Oh, the flight simulator lessons from
12,000 feet.
The Kings. I don't know their first names. The King, the King family, the husband and wife who would do all the instructionals for the early flight simulator games. Yes, their training was invaluable to me. And then when I moved up to FSX, the Rod Machado's flight training in FSX he's the best. I was so sad that Rod Machado was not part of Flight Simulator 2020 training, because wow, what a guy. And yeah, those videos, I would watch them over and then go to the knowledge base and learn. But again, without YouTube, a lot of it was so hard for me to get through. Yeah, wow. So I'm very happy with what I have been able, by sticking with it, what I've been able to learn. I think I can fly most things now, especially general aviation, because go through a checklist, most everything is the same. It wasn't until I hit the military jets, the military jets are awful different, but the F-35 is very similar to general aviation in their control, in understanding it, where the other planes are so foreign. But I feel like I can now fly anything with a little bit of time, and I'm much better about reading my charts and flight planning. was so happy that SIDS and stars were included in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I wasn't even expecting something as amazing as the, quick SIDS and stars, because going out into SkyVector or any other tool and finding the actual charts that you need, the first time I was trying to find the proper charts I needed to do general flight planning was driving me insane. How many charts you got to go through, and then if you don't have the current charts and blah blah blah. And I can only imagine how it was when back when we were growing up, how tough it was without the internet or digital tools. You would have to go to an airport to find all the charts, and that's insane. And then have the current ones. I mean, could you imagine how many trees they killed, the FAA alone, just printing up constantly changing charts? My God. The DC-3 is a contender for being one of my favorite planes, but it's one of those tail draggers. And I imagine converting the inside into a living space, and you'd always be kind of on a tilt. But as far as cargo space and joy and fun to fly, the DC-3 is an amazing plane. But again, I'm not great with it.
Denver approach Kinney is 112 tree.
But I appreciate the heck out of it. Check some of the weather. I haven't been checking things.
Cleared through Bravo airspace. Kinney is 112 tree.
Find the left and right button for independent tail. Or for your main wheels. I get what you're saying in my head. Yeah, what's the there? Dots next to your name. Okay, and I can go right to your channel, Rent a Cow's channel, and hit the subscribe button. And RBMK1000 simulator, Vladimir Lenin Atomic Energy Station. What is that? Streamed 3 years ago. Ah, you've got flight videos. Tricky RNAV into Scion, Cessna 152 ILS approach. There's your citation, CJ4, Portland to Oakland. Operation Neptune Spear. Wow, what is that?
112 tree. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
Eve Chronicles. I played Eve for a little while, and then did Star Trek Online for like 12 years or whatever.
Cleared through Bravo airspace. Kinney is 112 tree.
MSFS2020 oat bug. Out to your outside temperature was bugged. Landing at bird number 2, Cessna 152. I've got to check out this RBMK 1000 simulator. What is that all about? You were live, and it really is. It's an atomic power plant simulator. Wow. Refresh and you listed 2 more flight sim vids. Let me see if I can get your page. One moment, please. It's going to have a black screen up for a minute. I apologize. One moment. The Adventures of Shade looks like a survivalist videos. I love survival video games. Live International Space Station tracking. Wow. Okay, so you got some heavy duty stuff going on there. Look at those graphics you have. Yeah. Make sure this is up all the way. 1440p. You might get a pop-up in your copyrights this week that a portion of your video was used in somebody else's live stream, meaning me. So please don't invoke a copyright violation on me. Yeah, you have beautiful graphics, the way you have it set. Almost looks like Colorado. Lowering the engine.
500.
I always pull the power too soon on this plane, ended up stalling out. Wait, what plane is this? Is this the, yeah, this is the Savage Cup. Yeah, I'm always pulling the power too soon. I haven't got the fine touch on short landings yet either. I have a tough time just putting it down and stopping. End up rolling way too far. The power in. I keep wanting to click my mouse and adjust the view. I want to look at things. Settings. That's a tight turn in there. Mountain flying, man. That's why I spend most of my time still practicing in Colorado in the simulator. Mountain flying. I die and die and die and die. I always get myself into bad positions, or I go too deep into the mountains and I lose all my air. Or I get caught in an area that's too tight to turn and get out of. The losing air thing is probably my biggest problem now. Thank you. Gotta dial in those settings. You're right. I love the white caps on the water down there. That was nice. Yeah, right on. You're gonna need the camping. You're gonna need the camping kit. It looks like you're using head tracker too, or a VR. Is that a head tracker? That was so nice. I'm so curious what this is. It looks like a Minecraft thing, but it looks awesome. Sometimes I don't care if the graphics are good if the gameplay's far out. What a trip. What's going on there? How horrible. Somebody's getting... that's Saddam's compound. Ah. No, not Saddam. This is a... Oh my god. Bin Laden. Is this the Bin Laden? It was a two to three story building and the helicopters crashed. Track IR. Yeah, the helicopter crashed. I can't believe that didn't wake up like everybody. I mean, a lot of some of the story doesn't make sense to me. Sure, I can understand them coming in stealth mode, but when you crash a helicopter, you know, they're like, well, then the neighbors woke up and people started coming out, and but then when they went inside, it was like people were just asleep still. How'd they sleep through any of that? Oh.
It's the coastline, I think almost direct south. We were sending receive counter battery. Dynasty, let's go, pick it up, let's move. We're moving now.
Moving now. Reminds me of Operation Flashpoint. That was a good game. Very detailed. Wow, what a trip. Running with the border. America's Army was a good game too. I like your choice in games. Now there's your 320. Nice hazy. That looks neat. Tricky RNAV. Beautiful. And your lighting is so nice too. Your lighting settings, I don't know if you've tweaked your lighting settings at all, but I love the blue. And again, I've got a UHD TV, so I get the good colors, but the natural blues in the environment, the ambient lighting is really beautiful here. I'm trying to set up open track, and it worked really good the first day. And maybe it was because it was night and the room isn't well lit, and the way the light works in this room, I need that says your face should be well illuminated. Anyway, it was working like dog crap earlier, and try as I might to get the thing calibrated correctly, it just wasn't happening. So I'll try it again tomorrow afternoon when the lighting is right again and see if that was the problem. And if that is, then I'll have to try to set up some different lights. But it was working so beautifully and was getting it all dialed in. And I wanted to do tonight's testing with the head tracker. It's all worked at the moment. I can't wait till we have shared cockpits. It would be so fun to be somebody's co-pilot and vice versa. But flying with people that have done a lot of flying and being a co-pilot, I think is going to be a grand experience. A good head tracker should be #1 priority. Well, I'll get it working. I will definitely try to figure out how to get it working and get it working good. When it works good, it works great. Let me speed this up a little bit. Gorgeous. Beautiful. The Track IR5 or Toby, worth every penny. I believe you. A nice light flare. I'm a little heavy-handed, getting bad situations. Looks like you got mods down there. Nice, that was beautiful. Speaking of, I forgot to, yeah, that looks like you've got a modified cockpit. There's a display going on down there that I'm not used to seeing. That display right above the throttle. Looks like a text chat window. I heard stuff like that was implemented. I prefer low. Sometimes these steep angle descents, they kind of freak me out a little bit. I tend to like to, when I fly manually, I'm always below minimums. Did we crash yet? Where are we at? Okay. I've flown past, so let me do a direct. Back to Franz. And let me get out to 9. Yeah, it's oh, I can't have music.
Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator. With the Sim Update 15 of the Microsoft Flight Simulator, the Airbus A320neo by any builds is available.
Guy's gonna get me in trouble. Very, very happy. Okay, we're back on track here. And get it. Denver's a pretty congested place. It's a nice airport, and I have one of the handcrafted. I purchased one of the with the deluxe premium. I got the Denver, but then there was another one. I purchased that one too. Not sure which one's working. Yeah, right. I think the Skyvan has a way to do ILS. I think. I'm stuck on one of these. Either way. Oh my lord. Flailing about. I need to turn on that transition. So when I click into MSFS, it goes back immediately. There we go. want to take a moment to thank you so much for spending any of your time with me this evening. And I really hope that you subscribe to me as well. And when 2024 comes around, and if we can do shared cockpit, if you have the time and inclination whatsoever to maybe hook up and do a dual live stream, and maybe I can try being co-pilot, something like that. And I'm definitely looking forward to flying with more experienced pilots. All right. So let's see if we can do the approach now. We're on glide slope. Our diamond's there. Do their own thing, Sarge. But thank you for hanging out with me this evening. And I need to go back to your page, and I think they have the notify button when I click the little bell icon, and it will alert me whenever you post something new. Channel. Where's the channel go? I guess that is it. When you subscribe, it's got the little bell icon. Okay, well, either way, I'm subscribed. Still don't have any clue as to why the drone camera rotates on you. If you leave it just sitting there, it'll just continue to rotate one way or the other. I have been thinking about picking up the Antonov, that one with like 16 wheels. That looks crazy. Humongous. The thought of flying something that big just kind of terrifies me, to be honest. Feel like I'm coming in low. So I slowed down too soon. Yeah.
100, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 5.
Whatever. Easy there. The first thrust kicking. Buggy last time. Come on, you. There we go. That wasn't perfect, but we're down in one piece. Didn't smack anything or crashes. I don't have slew set up yet. This, after setting this new system up, I've been doing all kinds of other things. Let me get us into the airport. They're going to take my license for taxiing this fast. And some of these runways around here, got to be extra careful. They got bumps in them. You hit a bump going this fast. Plane flies up in the air 45 degrees. We get up here, I'm going to pump the graphics all the way back up again and turn on all the airport traffic and all the goodies. I don't care about FPS for what I'm about to do. It's just putting it into sightsee mode.
Denver Ground Kinney is 112 tree request taxi to the gate.
I don't want to talk to you.
Taxiing to gate Bravo 9 or 4 via taxiway Alpha Echo Alpha Sierra Alpha 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 Sierra Mike Mike 9 Bravo November Kilo Kinney is 112 tree.
Yeah, that was said a little bit too fast for me. I don't have the ribbons on. I'll let this guy do it. Come on, Steve, take over. Get us to parking. I'm going to turn everything back up. Okay, so we're going back to alt quality. And we need to take it out of super resolution. We need to get our render scaling back. Bump the terrain all the way up. Buildings all the way up. Object level of detail all the way up. We don't need any grass. Don't need any trees. Need the buildings as high as can be. Don't need the vector data. Need the clouds. Shadows need to go back up. Need the windshield effects. Occlusion ultra, reflections ultra. Ultra, light shafts. Oh. There we are. Ultra. Might as well turn on the bloom. Normally I don't, but this is for photographic purposes. Density. Density. Workers. $38 frames. All right. Yeah. Denver International Airport now. Unmistakable with those with that canopied roof. And the hotel that they built on the front of this thing. Reminds me of the Twitter logo. Get back to the chat. Don't want to miss what you're saying. Yeah, I'll try. I'll give it my best shot, Captain. Where's he going? I think now I'm noticing the shimmering you were talking about with those settings being set high. Our render's right. Let's turn the Gsync back on. See if that fixes it. Better. It's just a big Cessna. Okay. We'll give it the best shot to do the DC-3. Now, again, it's been a long time, so forgive me if there's a lot. I'm not going to do the checklist. I'm just going to kind of jump in and we'll take it from start, from the runway anyway. Back to my home airport. Hayfly, Meadow Lake, Colorado Springs. Just back down the road a ways. This is where my dad trained and flew out of, and I would go hang out as a little kid. I'm gonna remember that forever. It's just a big Cessna. Coffee. Cheers. Here's to your health, well-being, and prosperity. I think it should be enough.
November, taking off runway tree straight out departure.
Let's take a look at this cinematic beauty for a minute. I like videos like there where it goes off the taxi. I've seen some videos of planes that taxi and they just keep going off the taxi and drive into the hills. And yeah, I'm getting some of those stuttering artifacts. I can find the mix. If I can find it anyway. I'm starting to stutter. Take it easy. Machine's freaking out. We don't need all that airport stuff now. I was saying, if I could remember where the mixture is. Yes, this is a high altitude. And so you do always want to be a little bit lower, but I can check RPMs once we get going. And I don't have a control bound to link these dang things. I mean, these I can. But getting these synced and in the right spot without a percentage, pain in the butt. I'm assuming propeller's full for takeoff. A little cold. F2 and F3 for throttles. I'm not set to default, so I don't know that they'll work, but I can try it. F2. That dropped that mixture all the way down. Oh, hopefully it didn't shut off the engine. It did.
Kilo Foxtrot Lima Yankee India November taking off runway 33 straight out departure.
Doesn't even look normal there. Yeah, I'm on this thing. Yeah. Oh, it's getting a drop. Getting a drop. So I should be getting a dropped RPM. Oh well. Give it a little trim up. Oh, maybe not that much. Ah, there we go with that tail dragger. Tail dragger behavior. It says I lost my connection. On you. Get back over the runway. Services are unreachable. The right-hand turn out of Meadow Lake.
Colorado Springs approach Kilo India November is type 2 miles north of Kilo Foxtrot Lima Yankee 7,500 feet. Request flight following.
Still getting some shimmering on those textures out there. What are we doing? Okay.
27 India November.
300 RPM on the climb. See if this has changed.
Roger, India.
The manifold pressure. You normally drop your propellers back for cruising. And the question being is, for cruise, if you're not in any hurry and you drop the mixture for higher altitudes to where you're just hanging on, put back in the throttle all the way. But basically the question being simplified is, do you get better gas mileage in a cruise by dropping your propellers, changing the angle? Because I've been trying to determine it and I can't seem to make that determination that it actually makes any difference at all. But going in for a second opinion, in theory, it should, because you're putting so much less stress on the engine. Got to straighten level here. Cruise power generally at 25 inches. And is that on your manifold? Yeah, manifold pressure. Okay. 25 inches. 2,000 RPM. Now, I'm having a tough time with the RPM, understanding the RPM when I'm not getting changes with the mixture. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I see it actually making a difference there. But make sure I'm not crashing. Okay, oops, sorry. Back to the manifold pressure. Okay, so we're pushing it too hard on the pressure, right?
Colorado Springs approach Kilo, India, November. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Yeah. There we are. It's over here.
Cleared through Charlie airspace, India, November.
Gotta get the trim back down. I gotta check and see if I put it back into. No wonder the anti-aliasing, I pressed it once too much and wasn't paying attention. I'm like, it looks jaggy out there. Much better. Okay, where were we? We're trying to get straight and level. Flight as low as we can. Let's head back towards the airport. I remember watching a television program about these Alaskan pilots that have to rely heavily on the DC line, DC3 still, and it focused around your seasoned veteran DC pilot running his helping run one of the airline services, and the young people that were training and apprenticing or whatever at that airport. And I just remember the old man being super proud of the kid, one of the kids that he was allowing to fly that day, that the first thing he did when he got in there is he tried getting it trimmed out as fast as he can and getting it leaned and getting it into a low cruise so that he could conserve as much fuel as possible. And that meant the world to the old guy. He's like, that means everything up here, conserving fuel. So, he was super proud of the kid that day. That he did everything he could to maximize every drop. And I don't know if they ever continued that series or not. I don't remember which network or whatever, but I would have liked to follow up on that, because that seems so dangerous. Then you had your mid-grade, I wouldn't say mid-grade, say mid-level experienced pilot I remember him. He's like your Han Solo type. And he would do the dangerous ones, you know, fly into places that, you know, low to no visibility and no landing lights and so I just admired the hell out of these guys that were that still had a, you know, some of these planes operational, and some of these planes are still their lifeblood up there. For landing, you can set 2,300 RPM and manage the throttles as needed. It's a beaut, and I've pretty much got straight and level flight. I mean, I gotta trim a little bit. We're getting pushed around that way a little bit, but she's stable. It was pretty. Makes me think of Indiana Jones, but that may have been like DC 10? I don't know, I don't remember. But these type of planes always make me think of Indiana Jones. Casablanca, Humphrey Bogart. Getting that push, and it could be because I have one of my propellers a little bit wrong, so I'll break down the throttle on that one a little bit and see if I can make it straighten out a little bit more. Right. Okay. It's the Colorado Springs Municipal Airport. Doesn't like that. Are the flaps down? Doesn't like that at all. It's buzzing at me. I don't want that power.
.124.0 India November. Goodbye.
Goodbye to you too.
November 9,400 feet.
34 left.
.120.6 India, November. Goodbye. Colorado Springs approach.
Didn't like it.
November 8,600 feet.
Kind of a cavalier landing. Not really, book, but all right, let me grab that coffee. I used to be deathly afraid at one point, even looking at the interior of a cockpit that looked like this. Because just again, that one point in my head, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to figure this out. That's too much knowledge. Too much you have to know and learn. It's just too much. And I think that if you really want to learn, it's so easy. It's so much easier now because of everything I talked about earlier, all the YouTube tutorials, just all the ability to absorb that knowledge is out there now. You have to hunt for it. And if you just stick with it, they talk about learning through osmosis. I don't know if that really applies. Maybe through the joystick, it all just ends up seeping in. And the best days ever are when you have those moments of breakthrough, the epiphanies, the ah moment. When you start having those and they start becoming more and more frequent when you're trying to learn this stuff. And as I'm learning from other pilots, that you never stop. Once you're on this road, you don't ever stop learning. Some people are like, well, you spend all your time in the simulator, aren't you going to learn how to fly? Well, maybe one of these days, as a bucket list thing, I finally will go out and do it. But I was never afraid of flying growing up at all. Always been an enthusiast. But the more I practice and practice and practice, the more afraid I've become, because I try so hard sometimes to do everything perfect. You know, there's days where I want to do everything by the book, and stuff happens. But the good side is that the FAA and AOPA and everybody else says we absolutely know now that a lot of these problems that a lot of pilots have today, professionals and non-professionals, is that not enough simulator time. You know, they don't spend enough time in here constantly flying, goofing off, trying different weather things, and experiencing all the crap that can happen. Putting themselves in bad situations or whatever, just more simulator time. Because they don't know how to react quick enough. And that's another thing that I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just that, you know, after this many years of practicing, not freaking out. So I've been really happy with my progress when I find myself in a bad situation now, as opposed to the past. I'm not freaking out, and normally I can figure out what to do and recover. And that's a win-win to making me consider going to do it for real. Another benefit I've been seeing the flight schools advertise around here is they realize that a lot of flight simmers they want to do this. And so a lot of flight schools, I'm saying, at least one or two around here now, are saying, we will consider lowering your fee for flight training, depending on how much knowledge you bring with you when you show up. And that's beautiful, because I would love to get to the point where, you know, there's a lot of things I don't know how to do. I don't know how to walk around a plane for real and do the inspection. I don't know how to, you know, use the tools you need to check your gasoline for water. You know, things you can't do. I haven't used an E6B, you know, the little handheld calculator that you use for all your wind speeds and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, not familiar with some of those tools, but as far as accessing all the digital tools and demonstrating VFR and IFR and, you know, basic understanding of FAA rules. I would be really happy to go in there and shave off a ton of money and say, look, let's, you know, heck, let me teach the class the best I can, with the exception of the things I don't know. Anyway. What time is it? Beautiful plane. All right. Another place that's always busy and heavy on the computer is LAX. Surveyor. Let's try that model yet. And we'll do the icon. That way we can look. Wow, it's big. We should check Las Vegas too. Costs around $200 an hour to learn how to fly. So yeah, if you don't need as much practice in the actual plane, you can save tons. Yes. So not too recently, but a while back, more of my video time now was spent on watching people take tests and watching videos on test requirements. Like, this will be your average test for this license. This will be your average test. And I'm watching lots and lots of tests. And I'm trying to get much better at listening to ATC. And I'm trying to get brave enough to start learning how to talk ATC and work my way up to try to get into VATSIM. But I don't want to embarrass myself yet. So more practice this year with speaking ATC. $50 FPS. Oh, we're back in an airport, so let's do all the airport goodies. No. You didn't lose much at all. Okay, so five. Yeah, doing lovely. Lovely. I can't wait to try the Dune Ornithopter again in 2024. I have not reloaded that yet. I just wanted to stick with the basics and not load everything back up with this PC because we're going to make that transition to 2024. So I don't have most of the world packages. I just have limited myself mostly to North America. I did do the Germany, Switzerland, or whatever it was for the high resolution places. Yeah, this is running great. LA normally kills me. Central. Central structure, whatever you call that thing. All right. Next. I've also been enjoying the joys of loading in coordinates from the world map into here, into your search, and being able to find places on Bing. You can right click on a Bing map and pull up the coordinates and copy and paste them in here and get to places pretty easy. It's a very nice feature. Yeah, and I'll have to do New York too, because New York is another one that just kills my machine, my old machine. So it would be nice to see how it does with New York. That sim will get you comfortable on the radio 100%. Rentzcow says in the chat. Airplane rental plus gas plus instructor fees. Yeah. And don't you also have to have your insurance? Okay. All right. Las Vegas. Oh, I also a sub will enhance Las Vegas, but I have also purchased Las Vegas enhancement, so we get the sphere and everything. You turn down the lights a little bit, so we get, well, let's do a pass with the lights on and then a pass with the lights off and enjoy the splendor. This is the plane that got me into learning how to land. It was so, you know, I was so mad I couldn't learn how to land, and there was too much going on in the cockpit, too many instruments. And then Microsoft Flight came out, and people hated it. But it introduced this plane right here, and it took away all the, I don't want to pay attention and learn yet how to understand all the controls, all these dials. And it simplified it to something I understood, like a car. And then the low profile seating made transitioning from ground to air a beauty, right? And so this is what allowed me to start as I do a bumpy. Take my hand off the controller. But the plane that really helped me overcome my fear of landing and then just start getting it. Look, they got a moon pattern up. Now, there's no way I'm going to be able to prove something, the thing I'm about to say next, and that is, in my head, the way I see it, I'm the one who first started pushing this idea of a sphere. I'm a big Star Trek guy. I was, anyway. Heavily involved in everything I could to do with the Star Trek community at large. And one of them was, it was going to be moving from the hotel it was at. It was getting shut down over there at the hotel. Now I can't think of the name of the damn hotel. But I wanted to build a new Star Trek hotel and attraction, and I want to have an interactive Star Trek experience. But to pull it off, you needed a dome, because I wanted to be able to use video from the outside to the inside to do a ground to space transition. So we would take off from here. You'd go in there and stay in your hotel, but when you go into the dome, it looks like you're in the observation lounge of a starship with a domed roof, and all the video cameras would be feeding you live video from outside the dome. So it would look like just it's a giant window, but then the video footage, the CGI video footage, would make it, when you raise into the air, it would transition over to CGI, and you would go up into the atmosphere and up into low orbit, and then have yourself a grand Star Trek adventure, and then come back and land back there, and switching back to real-time footage as you come through the cloud layer or whatever. So you can have these seamless ground to space transition in your interactive experience, and open up everybody's phaser flight deck, their phaser controls, and maybe have everybody engage in some like asteroid duty or take on some Klingons. And anyway, Sphere was my idea. Okay, let's head towards old Las Vegas. There's the satellite hotel over there. The Hilton is where the Star Trek experience was at. There's Trump's place. One thing X-Plane has Windows beat, even these people that produced this upgrade for Las Vegas, they don't have the attraction on this structure here. There's a ride that you can get on at the top of this building here. It's like a giant arm that extends you out over the thing, and they don't have it active in this, and they do have it active in X-Plane. Well, I haven't looked in a while, so maybe they've added it, but I don't see it.
Las Vegas Tower icon kilo.
No.
November frequency change.
And that one actually works in the X-Plane one. The circus down there.
November is type icon 5 miles south.
Okay, and there's old
3000.
Las Vegas over here.
Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
So now we'll turn off the lights and we'll do the strip. This is probably better than in a helicopter.
Icon India, November. Cleared through the Bravo airspace, icon India, November. Going to 119.775, icon India, November. Las Vegas approach icon Kilo India, November 3,100 feet.
I think this is near Fremont Street. Circus. McDonald's. That's the Bellagio. So yes. And then the fountain. Or Treasure Island, yeah. Madame Tussauds is back in there somewhere. Time. Roz. Or however you pronounce it. Good times. Van Morrison is playing at Caesars. Very nice. There we go, the fountain. Brittany. Street Boys. Never went there, but I really, used to be in the fantasy thing. All right. Well, I think that about does it. I think we have proven in this live stream that I am now prepared for 2024, and I've got my graphics settings under control and can adjust them as needed to provide you the best visuals that I can. And it was a real pleasure getting to know Rent-A-Cow, who came into the chat room this evening, and I look forward to staying subscribed and checking out what he's doing in the future. And again, maybe we can hook up and do some co-piloting. And it's gonna be a great year, folks. So a lot of great things coming after November. So please like and subscribe. And if you have any requests on places you want to go, let me know in the chat room if there's any questions you have that I can possibly answer. If you need any help with anything to do with flight, but there's so many more people qualified really to answer flight questions, but don't hesitate to ask. So thank you for tuning in to the live stream. Again, Rent-A-Cow, thank you for coming in. And get my new I'm done with my live stream screen up. Is the right one? No, that's the starting. There we go. So, I don't know what I'll stream next. I really want to do that lake and do a video just dedicated to the camping stuff again. So, maybe the next day or two, or whatever else I can come up with. And if you're subscribed, you'll be informed. So, thank you again. I really don't know how to end these things sometimes, so I'll just say goodbye. Goodbye.